Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So on this video today I want to discuss Nintendo Switch turning 7 years old this week. So yeah, it's Nintendo's happy birthday on the 3rd of March and I can't believe it's been 7 years already, and I'm sure many of you can't believe it's been 7 years, especially anyone who bought it on launch day like myself. So yeah, on this video I just want to discuss my experience with the Nintendo Switch over the last 7 years and what I think of it so far and just what I think of the system overall. So yeah, this video is all about my experience with the Switch in the last 7 years. So yeah, where do I start? So I remember the hype for the Switch. For me personally, I was very hyped. The idea of a hybrid system just, was really exciting. I still remember when Nintendo announced all the way back in 2015 that the new system's going to be called NX. That was a code name. But we loved the name NX at the time. We were like, oh, just call it NX. NX sounds awesome. We always love the code names, don't we? Like Dolphin and Project Reality for the N64, Dolphin for the GameCube, and so on. The code names just stick with you. And just like the Switch 2 is currently sticking with us right now, or the Switch Pro, we end up loving the code names that they give us. And NX was the code name for the Switch. And then one day they just out of the blue dropped a trailer, and there it was, a hybrid. The rumor was it was going to be a hybrid anyway, but when we first saw that trailer drop in 2016, I just fell in love with it. I love the concept. I love the design. The trailer was amazing. It was good. It got me really excited. But because of the Wii U, of how bad it was, there were still many people out there very skeptical about the Switch. The name Switch, people didn't really like them. Well, at first, I know some people didn't like it, but then the idea that it switches between, console to handheld, it made sense, and it grew on us really fast, the name. But yeah, there was a lot of people still skeptical on it, and about it being a success. One of my friends, he's a big Xbox fan, and I still remember him saying to me when he saw the launch lineups for the Switch, he was saying that these games don't look like strong sellers, including Breath of the Wild. He was saying Zelda games don't sell, like Mario games. Should have been a Mario game, that should have been the launch title. So he was doubting Breath of the Wild. But then when he saw the rest of the launch lineup for the the whole year, when Nintendo did the presentation, it wasn't just him. These analysts were saying it too. That okay, they're releasing a lot of ports like Mario Kart 8 and Rayman and so on. People are doubting it, but then as soon as the Switch pre-orders were available, it sold out, like completely sold out. The system came out on launch day, sold out. In fact, I remember the Breath of the Wild outsold a number of Switch units. That's crazy. Obviously, no one expected Breath of the Wild. They shouldn't be surprised really, but I don't think anyone expected Breath of the Wild to be a 97% on Metacritic and such a game changer. Breath of the Wild literally carried the Switch. I remember reading an article that said, if Breath of the Wild fails, the Nintendo Switch will fail, and that's probably true. But we all know Breath of the Wild did not fail. It was so good, even to this day. That game revolutionized the open world genre for this entire generation. So many games have copied it since it's come out. I won't talk about Zelda for too much, but its mechanics like the gliding and the climbing and the curiosity of the open world. It's so many games like it now, like Elden Ring and Ubisoft games. I'm not going to name them all, but yeah, it's a game changer. And Nintendo usually do release, back in the days they used to release a launch title that becomes an all-time great. The original NES had Mario 1, the SNES had Super Mario World, N64 had Mario 64, and so on. But then, they've kind of lost it a bit over the last few generations. So Breath of the Wild was one of Nintendo's greatest launch games since probably Mario 64. And it literally carried the Switch in the first year. There were some great titles that came out after it. I remember 2017 was one of the best years for gaming. We had... on the Switch, we had Mario Kart 8. I know it's a port, but come on, Mario Kart 8 is the best selling game on the Switch. Many people didn't play it on the Wii U. I did, but a lot of people didn't have a Wii U, so they got to experience it on the Switch. So for them, it's like, a new game. So we had Mario Kart 8. Splatoon 2 was really good. I mean, I like the first one on the Wii U, but 2 was a big improvement. Arms was a good game, new IP, I enjoyed that. Mario plus Rabbids, and then of course, was it Mario Odyssey? Yeah, in October that year. Mario Odyssey was amazing, and I mean, it was another 97% on Metacritic, so it's rare that you get 2 games in 1 year that has, 97% Metacritic. It's very rare. I mean, we had it in 2023 with Baldur's Gate and Tears of the Kingdom, both had 96. So it is rare, but what a year. 2023 and 2017, great years for gaming. And just looking at the Switch though, and that first launch year, I forgot to mention, it ended with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 as well. Nintendo had a strong lineup of games, and I remember, it outsold the Wii U in its first year, and some people are still skeptical. Analysts online, journalists, they were saying, can Nintendo keep that momentum? But you know what? The Switch is today, 7 years later, sold 140 million units worldwide, and it's probably going to outsell the PS2 and become the best-selling console of all time next year. So my experience with the Switch, it's I'm a Nintendo fan anyway, but for me it's weird because I usually play just Nintendo games on Nintendo systems, so like their first party stuff only. I usually play the third party stuff on the PlayStation, but because it's a hybrid system, just the idea of replaying some old classic retro games like say Final Fantasy VII, or even really old retro games from the Super Nintendo, or even just indie games. Let's not forget the indie games. Nintendo practically carried indie games. Like most people that bought a PlayStation or an Xbox, they weren't buying those consoles to play indie games. They were buying the consoles to play high-end games with great graphics, and some people probably, played some indie games here and there, but it was a Switch that made indie games so damn popular because it's handheld. On a portable, these sort of games are just so much better. They don't use a lot of graphical power, and indie developers, boosted with the Switch. The Switch gave indie games a platform to release the games on. So there's a lot the Switch has done that's just revolutionized the industry. Without Nintendo Switch, we would have had just Microsoft and Sony going head to head with a traditional game console, competing on power, FPS, and all of that stuff, which is boring if you ask me. I mean, look at the way PS5 is going right now. It's a good system, but it's not really doing anything new with the game industry. But yeah, Nintendo made us fall in love with handheld games again. They made us appreciate indie games a lot more. It's just been phenomenal. The system itself, the design of it, it's a very slick looking system. It's one of those handheld, not like a Wii U. I know a Wii U isn't portable in the sense that you could take it with you. It was very bulky. It was more of a console that looks like a tablet that you could just take with you without feeling too embarrassed if you pulled it out in a train station or on a plane or something. People would look at it and think, "Oh, that looks cool," because I've done it a few times myself. I remember I was traveling on a train one day, and I had this guy ask me, "What is that?" And I was like, "It's the new Nintendo." And I just took the Joy-Cons off. I put the Switch on a stand, and I just played randomly with this random stranger, 2 players. What was I playing? I was playing a puzzle game. What's it called? Death Squared. I was playing Death Squared, an indie game. It's a puzzle game, and I was playing co-op with some random stranger who sat next to me on the train, and we had a good time just playing the game, And he said he's going to get one, and yeah, the idea of just being able to take the Switch with you anywhere, take off the Joy-Cons, use them like motion controllers like the Wii, or just use them as little controllers, so that you can just give it to somebody else and play with them, and being able to take it to parties, and it's just so versatile. And Nintendo over the years have done a lot of things like Labo, which is great for kids. I mean, I know it eventually phased out, but I've managed to get a few, just to see what they're like, and built them. I enjoyed building them. For me, Labo, the best thing about it was building it. I really enjoyed that side of it all. It was fun. Playing it was more for kids, My nieces absolutely loved it to bits. Like I said, it's a kids thing. So it's nice that Nintendo they tailored a lot for different audiences. You know, there's something there for everybody. You know, this time round with the Switch, Nintendo managed to get it right. You know, you got the mature audience, and you got the younger audience, you got the like casual audience, you got the hardcore audience. It's just tailored for everyone. There's so many different games, so many different genres, lots of retro games, lots of modern games. The only thing it was probably missing is power to get the more recent games like Elden Ring and, you know, the more recent powerful games, Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6. So that, you know, it lacks power, so it can't get modern games on the system. But hopefully that'll be fixed with the Switch 2 when that comes out. But, you know, once again, Nintendo's proved that power isn't everything. The Switch is successful. People are still playing it today. I'm still playing it today. We don't care about visuals. We just enjoy the games. There are games on the Switch that I just wouldn't even play on the PlayStation. Games like AI, you know, these graphic novel type games, you know, like Phoenix Wright. I'd only play them on the Switch because, you know, it's got touch controls. It's great on portable. It's not something I would buy on a PlayStation because then you have to play it on a TV. I didn't buy a 4K TV to play graphic novel games, you know. I bought my 4K TV to experience 4K movies, 4K games. You know, I want to, you know, when I get a PlayStation, I want to see, you know, great visuals. Indie games, I'd rather just play them on the Switch. But that's the beauty of the Switch, you know, you could play a bit of everything on there. But the Switch has also provided, over the years, some of the best games we've ever played, like Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, mostly Nintendo's first party stuff. But yeah, there's, you know, been new IPs, a few of them I think, like ARMS. There's not many new IPs, but you know, what Nintendo have managed to do with the Switch is they released some of their existing IPs to huge critical acclaim or huge sales numbers. Like some of the best-selling games in each franchise are on the Switch, like Smash Brothers. The latest Smash Brothers is the best-selling Smash Brothers on the Switch. The latest Mario Kart is the best-selling Mario Kart on the Switch. It's best-selling Zelda game, best-selling Mario 3D Mario game, and so on. And we all thought the Switch was dead last year in 2023, but then came Mario Wonder, surprised everybody. But yeah, the Switch is just an amazing system with games, and there's a few things that, you know, it still needs to, you know, Nintendo need to improve, such as like the online side of things. You know, we all know Nintendo when it comes to online, they're not very good, are they? But let's hope in the Switch 2, you know, we can have proper voice chat, proper messaging system. And me personally, I've never experienced bad lags. I don't know where people talk about, you know, connections issues and things like that. I've never experienced it. I've played Smash Brothers during lockdown online. It was great. It was fun. A few lags, but mostly it was great. I've played Monster Hunter only online, you know. Monster Hunter is a game where it's mostly just online. I didn't get any lags that I can remember on Monster Hunter Rise. And that was one of my favourite games on the Switch. You know, some of the highlights on the Switch, Animal Crossing came out in lockdown. You know, we all know what 2020 was like, you know, during the pandemic. But then came Animal Crossing and it just like, wow, breath of fresh air. You know, very light-hearted game, go on a fantasy island. You know, just, it's an escapism, wasn't it? Perfect escapism. That's what Animal Crossing was. And it, again, best-selling Animal Crossing game. It was what's the word? Phenomenon, you know, for that year. So many new gamers discovered Animal Crossing during that lockdown. And yeah, it's just Nintendo's just released hits after hits after hits in 7 years. There's been some new IPs like what's it called? Astral Chain from Platinum Games is one of my favorite games. Fire Emblem Three Houses. There's so many games on here, and so many mature titles as well. So many franchises that I didn't even play on the Xbox or the PlayStation like decades ago. Such as BioShock, I never played them before. Red Dead Redemption. There's loads of games that I haven't played, but because I'm on the Switch and they're portable, I found the time to play them. And Persona 5 recently, I managed to complete it because of the portability side of it all. Because I tend to play games a lot more portable than, sat on the couch all day. So, I managed to complete games that I never even managed to complete on a PlayStation, because playing on a traditional console requires you to sit on a couch all day, and I'm not one of those that just stays on the couch all day. I like to go out and do things. So yeah, the Switch was perfect for me in the end. Like, it's just the perfect console, and I'd say it's been one of the best consoles of all time for me personally. I mean, one day I might even consider it the best console of all time, but it's too early to say right now. But yeah, it's been a great 7 years, and with playing the Nintendo Switch, didn't get bored of it. I've still got plenty more games to go through. So yeah, let me know, guys, what you think of your Nintendo Switch, if you've still got one, if you bought it at launch, if you're still playing it. Do you think a Switch 2 needs to come right now, or can it wait till next year? What do you reckon? I personally believe I can wait till next year. I'm not in no rush. I've got plenty of games on my Switch that I can go through. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section what you think of the Switch in the years you've been playing it, and if you think Switch 2 is going to be as good as Switch 1, let me know. Thanks for watching.